Welcome to Redify, your go-to channel for the funniest and most unbelievable stories. Today, we have a mix of jaw-dropping tales that will keep you hooked. Let's dive in. Our first story comes from our Amethyst Hole, where Op deals with an unexpected confrontation involving a family member and their beloved pet. My 30F fiancé 25 meters declared he needs to get an STD test for reassurance now that I'm 3 meters postpartum. How would you react to your partner needing a test for reassurance you aren't cheating? I know what I really need is a therapist because our issues are vast and deep beyond this, but Reddit is the best I can do at the moment. I just gave birth to our first son 3 months ago. I know they say not to make any big decisions during the first year, but I'm starting to become concerned that our lack of doing so is hurting us all. I've been feeling in a funk. I feel gross, ugly, and deformed since giving birth. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I did give in at just 3 weeks postpartum to start having sex with him again. I do have a high sex drive, but I would be lying if it wasn't partially to keep him satisfied. Well, lo and behold, I ended up with a uterine infection. Got the antibiotics, all better for the most part, but I've been getting random yeast infections ever since. Well, a couple of weeks ago after having sex, he noticed that his penis was a little red, inflamed, and burned a bit. I apologized and was embarrassed thinking it must have been from my infection. A few more times and nothing happens until today. I had sex with him right before leaving for work, and when I got there, I saw a text from him saying my dick is burning again, I need to go get checked, and an STD test. An STD test. So I asked if he cheated on me, because what? And in response, I got a slew of responses about how no, I'm the one cheating on him. He can't believe I'm cheating on him. So I call him in disbelief, and he aggressively accuses me of cheating on him. I tell him that not only, of course, would I not, but you get routinely tested multiple times throughout pregnancy. If he was concerned, it was like an old lingering one from a past relationship. He then begins to hyper-focus on why I'm bringing up that time period. Basically, I'm brought into a line of questioning that I can't win. He just knows I'm cheating on him, and he can't believe it. I asked him to take our son to his mom's because his tone was worrying me. I didn't want my son to hear him and become worried. That, too, was highly suspect and exactly what a cheater would say. Meanwhile, I can't believe this is happening. Apparently, the way I went about it was suspicious, and that he just wanted reassurance and my reaction was off. I felt like I couldn't say anything right. I was trying to reassure him, but I felt like I had to defend myself too, which led to me wanting to know why he would want to be with me if he even thinks I could do something like that. And do I want to be with someone who thinks that way about me? He kept saying that he will know when he gets the results and I won't have to worry, so I told him I don't want to be around him then until he gets his results. Go to his mom's. I told him I needed space, which told him everything he needed to know. After a lot more arguing and trying to diffuse, he goes on to tell me he just gets scared based on his past, and that I see him as less than because I pay all of our bills, etc. On top of ongoing drug issues, the last incident was just yesterday with him stealing my Adderall from me again. At least he did go out and buy me a safe once I caught him this time. So I can see why he would be insecure that I'd leave him, I guess. But this just felt so out of line to me. I'm having a hard time dealing with PPD and anxiety with going back to work while leaving my baby. I may have overreacted when I said I needed space apart, but I feel so overwhelmed. I feel like I try so hard because I love him so much. He told me if I was willing to kick him out, that would be it. He wouldn't come back. Basically, he thinks I went about it the wrong way and sounded suspicious, and he deserved reassurance from me without the defensiveness. I feel like I should have never had to deal with that in the first place when I do so much for him. I obviously love him. I put up with a lot. He doesn't understand why his accusation was so hurtful to me. Even now after we've talked it through, he clearly doesn't see it like I do. mocking me about saying I felt devastated. How should I even feel about this? At least with his other issues, drugs, I can understand that he's not trying to hurt me, and there are other motives. But this feels like an attack on my character. Like, how could he love me if he could think that way of me? Was I wrong to not be more understanding of his past trauma? Is needing an STD test from your fiancé a normal way of gaining reassurance? I'm so confused and hurt. Is any of this normal postpartum arguing? ETA, this gained way more traction than I was expecting. I think at this point, if you can't be kind in your reply, just please don't. This started out with feeling like I was getting advice, and now I feel like I'm being bashed. You may think I'm stupid, but there's no reason to say such hateful things about me and my son. I'm not as dumb as you all think. I'm 3 meters postpartum with PPD and am already struggling, which is probably making me act stupid. But there's also way more to our relationship than what's in this post that only focuses on his faults. There's also an insane amount of love, and we're a happy family the majority of the time. We have problems, and I may learn soon that they're too great to overcome or continue to overlook. I came asking for advice. The hate is not necessary, please. Can you believe this? It's amazing how some people can be so inconsiderate. The postpartum period is incredibly challenging, and instead of providing support, he's adding more stress. Trust is crucial in a relationship, especially during such a vulnerable time. What would you have done in OP's situation? Next up, we have a story from our relationships, where OP is dealing with a family conflict over babysitting duties. My 23F sister 30F is upset I babysit my friend's 23 meters and 22F baby over her nightmare kid. How can I get my family to understand that her kid is a nightmare? Throwaway so my family doesn't connect this to my main. I'm a 23-year-old child-free woman, if this is needed for the story, and my sister is 30 with a 4-year-old son. She's a single mom. Her ex-husband is not in the picture and has no contact with her or the kid. I'm gonna get straight to the point. That kid is a nightmare to be around. It's not his fault, it's my sister's fault. He very clearly has behavioral and mental health disorders, even at his young age. However, my sister was and is very ableist and refuses to accept that her son has problems. The kid screams bloody murder whenever something doesn't slightly go his way, screams and cries when he's overwhelmed, and has meltdowns to certain sounds and textures. Like I said, I don't blame the kid for these issues, but my sister refusing to get him treatment or help makes the kid a nightmare to be around. So, as a result, I don't babysit the kid when my sister asks, more like demands I do so. This causes a lot of fights between us and our family. I have a friend, to 3M, who's married to a wonderful lady, age 22, and they have a baby boy together who just turned 1. Yes, they got married and had him young, but it's not my place to judge them. This past weekend, they asked me to babysit for them, and I agreed for a few reasons. Their kid is calm, well-behaved, and a generally good kid, toddler, baby to be around. I love babysitting him. Also, they asked me nicely and understood that I might say no because I'm child-free. They were polite about their request. The thing about me is that if you ask me to do something politely, even if it's something I wouldn't usually agree to, I'd probably do it because you were nice and polite. So, for these reasons, I happily agreed to babysit the boy. My sister also asked me to babysit her son that day so she could have a day to herself, and I refused and told her I was already babysitting for my friends. She was pissed, to say the least. She said a few comments about how I was an ass and not a good sister, but I thought she dropped it after that. This past weekend, while I was watching the baby, my sister started banging on my door. I looked through the window and saw that she had her kid and a care bag with her, and I knew she was trying to drop him off and make me babysit. She was banging on the door, yelling at me and calling me heartless and a baby hater while I was holding a baby, ironic, and that I better open up and do my sisterly duties. I put the baby in a different room to keep him from getting scared by the noise and told my sister through the window to leave or I would call the cops. She started cursing for a solid 5 minutes before she finally left. I had the whole thing on my doorbell camera and sent it to the family group chat. Surprisingly, my whole family is on my sister's side. She keeps arguing with me about how I'd rather babysit a kid not even related to me over my nephew. I reminded her that her kid is a nightmare to be around, but she keeps saying that for family you help out. My sister has been cold since and keeps sending me text messages to provoke me into arguing with her more. She's also started saying some pretty ableist and nasty things towards my friend's wife. My friend's wife is on the spectrum and has BPD, and my sister keeps saying that she should have been sterilized and never should have passed her issues to her kid BTW. Her kid has shown none of the signs that autistic infants usually show, so what my sister is on. I will admit that I do feel a bit guilty because I never consider babysitting my nephew, but I jumped at the opportunity to babysit my friend's kid. My sister, dad 66, mom 64, and brother 33 are all calling me an asshole and saying that I'm just using the CF label to avoid family responsibility. I need advice on how to get my family to see my perspective on this. How can I explain to them that the issue isn't the idea of babysitting, but it's the behavior of the kid? It's clear that Op is in a difficult position. It's understandable why she'd prefer to babysit a well-behaved child over one with significant behavioral issues, especially when the mother refuses to acknowledge and address those issues. Family loyalty is important, but so is mental health and personal boundaries. What would you do in OP's situation? Our third story comes from our relationships, where Op faces a tough situation after revealing a deeply personal secret to his girlfriend. Told my girlfriend to 5F about a one-night stand I had with a guy 5 years ago. I am M30 and now I think I ruined my shot at love. Did I mess up? So years ago I had a one-night stand with a guy and I found out that night I am not gay at all. I sort of knew this, but always had a feeling like I needed to find out if I was or not. The night it happened, I was with friends and they brought a friend out who I didn't know was gay until everyone left, and it was me and him alone at his apartment. We were all drinking heavily. I was not in the right state of mind, and also cocaine was involved. I was so out of my mind and convinced to hook up with him. It caused me a lot of mental trauma after feeling like I was taken advantage of and in a way raped. I didn't tell a soul about this besides one girl I met who I know was never going to enter my life. We met on a trip in Mexico City for a day. And then we re-met in Europe, and during that European stay, I told her my dark secret. Fast forward from this time 5 years, and I have met the love of my life. We started to share everything about each other's past, what we wanted for the future. After about a month, when I realized I could spend the rest of my life with her, we were on a date getting serious, and she shared some of her not-so-proud moments. How she cheated on her ex, the reasons, and why she is with me. So I told her about this night feeling comfortable and thinking once I tell her this, she knows me down to my soul. It's been a few days now, and I feel like something has changed. She said she doesn't really care but worries about the future and if I would do it again or leave her for a guy. I told her, and it's the truth, I am not gay at all, and honestly, it's emotional trauma that I don't even like to think about. It makes me feel disgusting inside. Since then, I'm worried she is not fully expressing her feelings about me telling her this. I feel like I messed up and ruined the chance with her. Should I have told her? Should I never tell anyone? My family and best friends don't even know. I feel lost now, and I can't get it out of my head she will end up leaving me for only this reason. I need advice and help. This is a deeply personal and vulnerable story. It's clear that Op wanted to be completely honest with his girlfriend, but her reaction has left him feeling uncertain. Honesty is important in a relationship, but it also requires understanding and support from both parties. What would you do if you were in OP's situation? Lastly, we have an intense story from our I relationships, where OP is struggling with a moral dilemma after discovering a shocking secret. Partners 5 for F daughter to 5F cheated on her boyfriend to 5M weeks before he is going to propose. What if anything should I for F do? As a backstory, I for F was married to the father of my children 44 meters for nearly 10 years before finding out about his massive list of infidelities involving co-workers, sex workers, massage parlors, you name it. I want to make sure to lead with that because I'm not sure to what degree this is impacting my views about the situation I am about to describe. I have been dating my partner 5 for F for a smidge over 3 years, just about the same period of time that their adult daughter to 5F has been dating her boyfriend to 5M. The daughter had a bit of a chaotic childhood involving multiple marriages on the part of both of her parents, a very enmeshed extended family, high conflict co-parenting, etc. She is a beautiful, highly intelligent young woman in her final year of grad school with a bright future ahead. Her boyfriend is a sweet guy, a staunch Christian from a very traditional and religious family, in which not a single couple has ever divorced apparently, and I would describe them as a lovely couple. About a month ago, she came over to our house to let us know that her boyfriend was very serious about proposing. She even knew the week, and that he wanted to ask my partner's blessing. We responded enthusiastically, discussed possible wedding dates, all of the ways one would expect to meet the news about an upcoming engagement. About a week and a half later, she called and texted frantically looking for my partner and confessed that she had just cheated on the boyfriend by having sex with a co-worker with whom she continues to work and see daily. She expressed that she needed to confess what she did to someone, that it was a mistake, and that she would not be coming clean to her boyfriend because it would destroy him, and she still wanted to go through with the engagement. Frankly, I was completely shocked, both by the act itself and now the continued lies, especially once I heard that the boyfriend knew something was amiss and was inquiring thusly. Fast forward to a week and a half later, when the boyfriend does come to our house to have a long talk with my partner about asking for their daughter's hand in marriage, which my partner discussed at length before giving their blessing. Honestly, I feel so disgusted and disappointed by the behavior that the daughter and my partner are displaying. I am finding it extremely difficult to play along with this ruse. I'm grappling with how much of this is my own BS from being in a relationship where I was gaslit for years by my cheating partner. It feels like I am almost too invested in this situation, but I'm also expected to participate in full with complete enthusiasm. He's planning a huge engagement party for literally next week after the proposal, and I am struggling with what feels like being complicit in something fundamentally wrong. How do I proceed forward with this situation? This one left me speechless. It's a tough situation, especially given OP's past experiences with infidelity. It's hard to see someone go through the same pain, and even harder when you're expected to support a relationship built on lies. What would you do in OP's situation? Would you tell the boyfriend the truth or stay silent? Thanks for watching Redify. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below with your thoughts. We upload new Reddit stories every day, so don't miss out.